Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Rohan No Deaths campaign, where the goal is to win without seeing any factions on the map eliminated. And we are here defending against a few armies of the Dunlandings. They are attacking in various small companies around the fort at the mouth of the head rather of the River Eisen. And the neat thing about this battle is that if we win it and we do it well, we could get that fort. It's not necessarily likely for that to happen on the AI's turn, because they will typically retrain stuff in the settlement, and since we're not besieging it, there would be nothing preventing them from simply training another unit. But a fort settlement is not very well populated typically, and so that may mean they have drained the population and thus are unable to train something. So we might get into a situation where we can actually walk in when it reverts back to our turn. We do have a few light troops here facing us. We've got some Dunlandish horsemen in the back here. I really like this unit when I'm playing as Dunland. They're very cheap, light cav. They've got javelins but also spears, so they're much more effective than you would think in melee if you use them well. Units that I'm not really worried about are these Dunlandish huntsmen and the axemen, who I think we can break pretty quickly through a nice charge. But we also have some pretty aggressive axemen running through the trees here, and I think that's it for this army, although where's their captain? Maybe somewhere off map, actually. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll aim for this unit with our heavy cavalry. We've got Guthwin of the House of Bregu, who is riding up with some Riddermark spears and Riders of the Mark. I'm thinking this is going to work out pretty quickly here. Yeah, broken. That's what you want to see. Okay, and there we can see the enemy general approaching off in the distance there. I think this is the garrison army, but I'm going to wait for them to approach. I don't want to send my men too far apart from each other. Let's take the Rohan riders, or actually let's take these light cav. I'm just going to run through the Dunlandish horsemen. Let's hit these axemen. We're going to go right through the huntsmen, rather, and hit the horsemen on the other side of it is the plan. Already routing some of those light troops. We do have someone approaching from behind and slightly uphill. Those are bowmen, so I guess I do need to give some thought to them. Let's send the Rohan riders up. They're going to be a little more heavy. All right, I think we're going to need some help here. Let's send the Riders of the Mark in here to help with these huntsmen, who are doing a lot better than expected. But they're routing now, and we should catch the general. I don't think there's any family members involved. Yep, he's gone. So if we can just eliminate all of these units, even if the actual captains get away, then we should still be able to get the city. Alright, and the bowmen are losing heavily and wavering and routing. Very good. We're just going to go right after these huntsmen here. And there is a unit of tribal spearmen. Okay, so that could be what prevents us from getting the city, because those spearmen are going to be a little difficult to deal with, and it looks like they're running away. And anyway, these huntsmen have managed to rout a tiny unit of Rohan spears, but we've got the heavies coming in, so I think we should be able to take them all out. There goes the general. Yeah, those spearmen are cruising off the map, and they're pretty much on the edge anyway, so let's see what we can do. We'll probably only succeed in just barely catching them with some of our light troops and having them routed off the field. Nothing else over in this direction. So let's see how this foot race goes. If the general catches him, there's a possibility we could get a route going, because we do have that intimidation effect. But they're right at the edge. I think they're going to make it. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can continue the battle just to make absolutely sure. Well, we've got this guy. What is he? The actual general? Sure, let's take him out. I think, in one sense, we have we've done enough in terms of the actual numbers So, yeah, they're not left with too much, although the 100 tribal spearmen are going to be a problem, and they also got some light troops away from this other company. Okay, so in the reversion to our turn, we do not have the settlement, but we are in a position to move on. I also don't see that big, scary army. Or no, we already defeated them. Oh, no, here it is. Here it is. Here's that big, scary army, Dunlanding host. And we can't get away from here. We could try something. We could... I wonder if I could build a fort like here, leave a tiny trash unit in it, and then move on in this direction. I don't think he could pass through the area. The fort sort of creates a choke point for them. So even though we can't completely leave the zone of control of this fort, they would need to first get around our camp, which they can't do. So let's leave a unit that we really can't retrain now anyway. And yeah, they can't, I don't think they can get close enough to hit this army. So unfortunately, we can't move at all because of the way we already moved out of the zone of control. But I want to keep the commander with the army. So they're going to have to lay siege for a turn. We'll get to move. We may not make it, but we'll at least be in a position to bring up some reinforcements. So speaking of which, I may want to get these guys going. Let's see. In Dunfrecka, we've got a ton of stuff that could be useful. Let's see how many are required to keep the peace. Not many at all. So we'll send them right up to the ford, and we can get them at least close enough to support in the following turn or so. And, you know, we may as well send all of these guys as well. Got to love the road system in Rohan. It is just amazing for getting troops where you need them. If I take out the axes of the mark, I can get cav all the way from Aldburg to the ford over the Eisen, and that's just about a full stack. All right, interestingly, we have peace between Harondor and Harad. You know, it's a great time to be getting out of the south. So let's get our army, and let's move one tile, because again, although we are allied, we don't have military access, and so I guess that means they're exerting some kind of zone of control around us, which is odd. I really thought that it would not work out this way. I thought alliance meant that I could sort of move through, you know, not completely through, but at least around their troops a little more easily. But anyway, we are, I believe, out of the reach of Harad at the moment. We'll keep our spy and our emissary in the area to make sure that that the war is going okay with regard to Khan, Far Harad, and these other armies. Here's a big stack of Far Harad. Looks like they may be getting ready to do a counteroffensive against Khan in the east. Otherwise, things looking pretty stable, which is what, of course, we want to see. Also looking pretty stable is our economy. We're at 75,000 with a projected profit of 6,000. So that's pretty good. I like to get up around 100,000 before I start doing real diplomacy stuff, like really seriously going for protectorates. I still think we're a little ways away from that because we simply don't have the men. We do not have enough soldiers in any of the theaters to really put the kind of pressure we need to get a protectorate. But we can start to get some reinforcements. So let's throw in some slingers to this army. I think we probably, as much as I hate to say it, we probably don't need these Rittermark spears. There's only 11 of them, and although they're excellent, I just don't see them making a big difference. We'll bring it back to Belagant, and we'll take the mercenary slingers. Now, we are at war with the chiefdom of North Rune, but we've seen that they have some really big armies, and I know that those armies are not going to be excellent or anything, but neither are our armies excellent, and so we may have to be a little careful about this. So maybe we'll go like right up here to get an ambush, and then we'll have a bit of choice in how we approach those armies that may want to head down towards us. First step to making Belegant useful is control posts. This is only going to give us Rovanian Forester levies, but these are a very useful unit, actually. They have javelins and spears as well as shields. So, you know, a decent skirmish unit and really useful in the right kind of battle. So I will spend some of my money to get that going. And I think we could use yet another emissary in the region. We can send him around North Rune just to make sure how their armies are disposed. And good signs from from the south. Rune has still failed to take Nerigzagil. I'm not sure if we're trading with the dwarves, actually. Let's take a look at that. Okay, we are. So that's good stuff. We want to keep Nerigzagil in dwarven hands as long as possible. And that may mean we take it and give it to the dwarves at a later point if they end up losing it. But yeah, Dunkreok, although it is a red face, it's at 55% public order, which is, you know, actually kind of surprising. Let's train another scout. I thought we were going to lose it for sure. And, you know, we could just almost get some reinforcements over there. It would be nice if we didn't lose it. I'm not sure that we want to spend on the provincial pacification, though, given that the public order is so low. We could restore the walls. That would give, I think, a little public order bonus, but it's not really worth doing at this point. Okay, Rovanian wants trade, and I think I'll ask for just a little bit of cash in return for that. Rovanian is expanding, as you can see. They've got a settlement near Mirkwood, and they've got a settlement in southern Rovanian. So it'd be nice to to get a little bit of cash out of them. And Reunited Kingdom is diplomatically engaging with us. Maybe that was an attempted bribe or something. And so I hope that we don't end up having to fight them. I'm sure we will, though, because they may be poised to eliminate some faction down the line. All right, we have a suitable husband here, but I'm not sure he's all that suitable. He's a poor governor and an incompetent commander. He is an Eorling, which is good. He's energetic, but unintelligent and charismatic. So he would be, you know, someone we could use as a fighter, but he's an incompetent commander. That's worse than poor. And he's a fool. Yeah, so we'll decline that. All right, Harondor is back at war with Harad. It looks like they are the aggressor. Hard to tell, but they've got some big armies in the area. Well, they've failed so far to take Ur, so this is going to be a long war. That's just fine. We want to bring our army north again. We have done a lot of building, and actually, we didn't lose Dunkreok, and we were not attacked at the fort. So, we could, in theory, try again to take the outpost of Dol Baran. If we took that, we could instantly get this army home, because there would be no more zone of control. If we don't take it, we're stuck only moving one tile to the east. So I think this is a good move, although we want to make sure there's no surprises waiting. Let's send an army just to the north, and there he is. Yep, that was a trap. Well laid, Dunlandings. Okay, well, I'm going to move one tile to the east then. If we attack this army, of course, this giant monstrous army is going to show up as reinforcements, and I don't think we can deal with it. So let's leave the mercenaries for now and just get out of here. We could, though, send some units in support, but the problem is, well, I want to retrain all these guys. I don't want to just merge them. For example, if I merge the Rohan riders with this unit, that's leaving me with one unit, whereas I could get them back here and retrain the three, right, in like a single turn. So it's going to be much better in terms of time efficiency for me to get all of these troops back separately. So I don't think there's any sense in making more room for units. What we'll do is just bring this army here. So if we are attacked somehow, they'll show up as reinforcements. Now, we're not going to be attacked by this army, or at least we shouldn't be. This is the army that has the movement points to move in this direction. But it looks like we are going to lose Dunkreok. Let's go for another spy then. We've got 2 in the city already. Let's bring one down so we can get a closer look at this big army of Dunlands. Yep. I think this is the army that we saw before, with a couple of wolf hunters, some of these hillmen. Okay. And then this other spy can go up here. We've got a family member coming down with a lot of light troops. Let's get eyes on their capital, Dunland. Okay, not too much there, but the thing about Dunland, of course, is that you never know exactly where their armies are. They could be hiding in the trees. So we'll just keep these scouts moving around and then hopefully get back in time to not be attacked, and we can do some more training. Easthold has completed an urban province. This is going to basically raise the level of development of the settlement. So now I can make some decisions about what else to build here. We could go with consultation, which is going to require us eventually to make a choice between using the settlement as a financial place or a military place. And that, of course, will come with its own bonuses and disadvantages in terms of what we can build. And that might be the thing that I do at this point. Easthold, I'm thinking financial. It's got some trade. I mean, it's not spectacular or anything. But we can always use cash. We've already gone up a market or two. So let's just queue up the consultation building, and I'm being a little hesitant to build more military stuff because they do come with a cost. So if you queue up a military building, I'm not sure if it shows. No, it doesn't for whatever reason, but it will have an impact on your land tax, sort of to represent the sort of the cost of keeping and training these men who could be otherwise used for economic activity. So, in other words, I don't want to build all of the military stuff everywhere I can because I'll be losing a bit of money. So maybe that's a bit cheap of me, but that's how I'm feeling right now. The emissary is already paying off around Belligant because we can now see this full stack of North Rune. And that's at least good to know that they're pointed back in that direction. I'll continue to get this guy around to see all these other settlements. But it does look like Rune has done quite well for itself, expanding north. This is initially a rebel settlement located right around here. And North Rune can take it, or Rune can take it. Looks like Rune is the owner. So that means North Rune is limited to 1, 2, and probably a third settlement up here. But we're not... Actually, no, they don't have that. This is also owned by the Chiefdom of Rune. Very interesting. Let's see. Okay, and they're busy fighting the dwarves and Dale. Okay, well that's great. So that means North Rune only has 2 cities. So they're weaker than I thought. Maybe we'll try for peace. Maybe we'll just see if we can take Garth and then confine them to their capital. That might be an option. All right, and we lost Dunkreok to a rebellion. But at least it's a rebellion and not an assault by Dunland. So that's going to take them some time to get that settlement back. That is, if they do. We only lost 33 citizens there. But that's because the population was so low. Yeah, down to 650. Looks like they do have a ringleader, which has the Captain's Guard unit, which is a decent medium cavalry unit. Otherwise, more typical light Dunlanding stuff. So Dunland itself should have no problem dealing with this. But they're going to have to divert resources to do it, which is great news. Okay, and they are pursuing us with this big army, but now we can get away. So that fort absolutely served its purpose. This is how I like to use forts, by the way. They're basically choke points. They're something that you can throw up temporarily, like this, to deny movement to the AI. It's sort of, I guess like how forts or camps were used in real life. They're not like a real... strong defensive position. If you've ever fought a defensive battle in a fort in the Rome Total War engine, you know that they're typically very weak, and they're not a place you want to fight inside of because there's almost no real defenses. But for strategic stuff like this, for denying access to the enemy, they're fantastic and well worth the 500 gold required. So now we've got to decide what to do with this army, and I think I just want to back up a little bit, and we'll get right on the other side, or maybe right on the bridge. Now we're out of the zone of control, so we can move these men back for retraining and combine them with this army and get ready to face the big Dunlanding host before continuing our push west. All right, I'm feeling a lot better about this now. We've got a full stack here with a ton of archers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got a few axes of the Mark, 3 or 4 units of them, as well as some other infantry. We've got Meduseld Guard, Shields of the Mark. And we've got some light cav as well. We are retraining a ton of stuff in Edoras, including some of our best units, the Rittermark Spears, Riders of the Mark, some more Shields of the Mark and other cavalry. And we're also training some of our infantry at the Hornburg. So I think we'll be able to hold off this army, especially if they attack, us across a bridge. That, however, is going to eat up all of our income. So I think we're going to hold off building for this turn, and we'll just see what the AI does. But in the south, we are seeing Harad move against Far Harad. Now, they have been at war for a while, but we haven't seen any evidence of it. But here is the first sign. Now, I don't know that this is going to succeed because we do have a Harandor army and another big stack around here, I believe, that may threaten and require them to move back. So hopefully us giving Far Harad Karenbad has bought them enough time for us to scoot north, retrain, and then come back. And over in the northeast, we do have that large army approaching. It's looking pretty big compared to our force, but hopefully we'll be okay. We are in an ambush position again, so if they move towards the fort, we should get them. And indeed, we are attacked by Dunlandings. We can see that there's a lot of pikemen. Now that we're fighting with a lot of archers, though, I'm feeling quite a bit better about this. Almost none of their units have significant arrow resistance. So we're fighting on the crossing. We've got some reinforcements to back us up. The balance of power says it's about even, so we're going to try to respect that and not just assume that we're going to ride over them. Because, again, our cavalry is of the light variety. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we have our archers out front. We've got a line of our infantry behind, and a lot of these guys are axes, especially on the flanks. But in the center, we've got this very nice Meduselt Guard unit, and this is marked with the crown symbol, which means that it's going to inspire nearby units. So a great unit to have, and I love the look of it. We also have some Shields of the Mark here right next to them, some more axemen on the flank. To the right and left and slightly back, we've got our Rohan riders with throwing spears and thrusting spears. And right in the back, we've got our very light charging cav Rohan spears, but also our bodyguard of Guthwin. So hopefully, after being hounded by Dunlandings for the past several seasons, hopefully he will be able to see a decisive victory here and hopefully move on to take the fort. We are getting into a bit of an archer duel here, as often happens, and I think we're going to do the better, because typically the AI will bring out its archers rather slowly, and if you're quick, you get your own archers out and focus fire on the different units, and you can usually win. And so, for example, they're just marching out slowly, and we're just getting a lot of shots in. Now, this wing might be a problem for us, so we may want to get some support, but we're actually already in range with the back row guys. Stuff is about to get very chaotic, though, and I don't necessarily want to rush and try to hold them. We want to have room for our cavalry to charge around. All right, we'll put all of our infantry into guard mode, though. Our own archers are going to just skirmish away, and then we'll probably have to throw them in as melee troops. Here come the Dunlanding hillmen. We're shooting them down. Wolf hunters approaching. A very tricky unit to use. They've got Warcry, they've got javelins, and they cause fear. So they're probably going to stop in Warcry. That'll allow us to shoot. Okay, they're going to throw javelins in. That's going to cause some damage, but hopefully we'll be able to hold them off. Tribal spearmen coming in. We may want to target them with our axes, especially if they look like they're going to start blocking our cav. Alright, so far so good. We got some routers already. They're going to get a lot of javelin throws in. Again, all these units are armed with spears, with the exception of the tribal pikes. So they're going to be running in, but they're not going to be able to hit our cavalry. So if we can hold them off, they're a pretty good unit in melee, then that'll be good. Alright, some tribal spearmen here. Now, these cav are set to skirmish, so they will move away. Tribal spearmen getting in over their head and routing. Looks like the center's not doing too well either for Dunland. No family member here, so they've got just a unit of Dunlanding horsemen as the captain. We're suffering a lot to their javelins, but I think they're getting by far the worst of it. Alright, so what do we have here? Axes of the Mark and bowmen. We've got sucked into a battle. Let's throw in the other spear units. Actually, I should put these guys in shield wall. I forgot they had it. Let's run them up to the huntsmen. Or the horsemen, rather. Bring the axes around to the flank and see if we can get going for some charges. I think I will bring my bodyguard forward a little bit. I do want the pikes to be mostly gone. But we may not have the luxury of waiting. Alright, let's hit the axemen with these cav. Now, the thing about having javelin-capable units is that sometimes it's hard to pull off a charge. They tend not to lower their spears necessarily. So you just don't always get a nice charge with them. You can guarantee it, I believe, by having them use all of their ammunition. Looks like the enemy captain is backing off. Just the tribal pikes in the middle, but they're now broken. And it looks like we got this one. Let's hit those guys. What is this? Axemen? Okay. I think they're not going to be long for the world, and then we'll follow up and see if we can run down these routers. I would love to completely eliminate this stack. And we may be getting close to it. We are at, what is this? 78%. So let's keep on. There's a lot of bowmen back here, I think. A lot of skirmishers who want to get away. There, this is the kind of battle I've been waiting for. A nice battle that's pretty favorable to us. That allows us to get some good charges in. And really decisively beat an army of Dunlands. And I think this has a chance of being strategically decisive as well, because with the loss of Dunkreok to us and then to the rebels, Dunland is really hurting in terms of its military production capabilities. Typically, they start off with 3 settlements that are quite good in terms of military production. You've got Dunkreok is one of them, where they can, I think, make tier 2 units, if not immediately, then very quickly. The other one is Dunfreka, which we took very quickly in the campaign. And then also they get Dunhold, which is their capital. Now that is going to be the most built up by far. But if it's just that one, you know, they've got a couple of other settlements probably that they took from rebels at this point. Like Anghal is another one they start off with, more in the plains, I guess, not so much in the hills. But that settlement is pretty low in terms of its development level. Oh, I love it. We've got our Rohan riders throwing the last of their spears into the backs of these tribal spearmen while our household guard rides them down. Beautiful. Of course, we are getting a bit of friendly fire. These Rohan riders are a bit of a double-edged sword. But yeah, taking Dunkreok, and then now we've got the fort, or, you know, we're maybe in a position to get the fort. Notice that our camp has been completely untouched, and so we could really put the fort at the Eisen under siege with near impunity here. All right, we did quite well. We lost almost 200, but we did a lot of damage to them. And those are some good units. Tribal pikes are, I think, a tier 3 unit for Dunland. So again, they may only be trainable up in Dunhold now. And if that's the case, they have to now decide: am I going to train Dunlanding hillmen, or am I going to train pikes, or something completely different? And how did you get around me, Northrune? I had an ambush and everything. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, Kinneberg. I knew you could do better. Suitable husband, adept governor, adept commander, Eorling. Okay, that's good. Although, notice he's only got the negative effects. So with the mod, you get different traits to represent houses and sub-factions and so on. And they all have different advantages and disadvantages. And sometimes you can get someone who has only the advantages, and sometimes, like today, you can get someone who has only the disadvantages. Usually, though, they have a mix. So that's not great, but you know what? He's got commanding stature. He's somewhat learned. He's intelligent, so he would make a good governor, and I do really need governors, especially in Edoras. So that is perfect. We'll leave him here to hopefully make us some money. Let's go ahead and put this right on local governance, and he's going to get the lordship title, and then quickly become nice and attuned. All right, that was a happy wedding indeed. Let's see, and we've done all of our retraining. Yeah, so now we've got all the good units to bring up. So we can bring these guys over here. Unfortunately, I was hoping I could hit this unit and take the fort. I can't quite do that. But we've got like a half stack here in Edoras. And it's good units. I should probably send them with this army just to really ensure that Dunland is taken care of. Let's get the spy down to see how much they've conquered. Okay, so they've taken Dunfata, and they've also taken the coast of western Anadwaith. So they've taken 1 and 2 settlements. But these are tiny, as you can tell. Tiny, unwalled, and typically very low in terms of development and population. So they'll have a hard time getting anything useful out of that. Anghall, I'm not sure what they have here, but it's usually not very much. And they've not even tried to take back Dunkreoch or attack my single unit of Dunlanding mercenaries. So I'll just leave him here. You know, maybe I'll even move him up in that direction. Get a little bit of line of sight on that. Okay, do I have a good enough army to besiege Dol Baran? And I think I do. I'll do it right from the road here. Put it under siege, and this is a fort. So we will go with a couple of towers and some ladders. There's only literally a single unit here. We'll bring up these reinforcements again to reinforce. And then, geez, what to do with this army? You know, I think I'll bring the Shields of the Mark anyway. They're an infantry unit. But in Edoras, it's... all these guys are cavalry. Okay, we can actually retrain a couple of the light guys. And let's get another unit of something. Let's get another unit of Riders of the Mark. We've got 1 of them. We've got 2 of the Riddermark Spears. So 2 Riders of the Mark, 2 Riddermark Spears. That sounds like a good sort of core for our heavy cav. Oh, we've got Theoden coming of age. Or being born. Alright, and we have Beligan under siege. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that occurred. In theory, we've got this ambush set up here, and so anyone passing around our zone of control, but if they knew exactly what was coming, they could have sort of moved around. Now, we could just ignore this, because we could hit Garth. Yeah, let's see if we can get Garth. This is their heir, and he's got some kind of crappy units. Let's see. All right, so in this fight, I can see that the city is to our northeast, just off there in the distance. And we've got a nice commanding position for them to come up and try to hit us. Let's hide a bunch of our troops, and I'm actually going to turn them so that they can face the enemy coming up. But I guess we're not hiding for whatever reason in these trees. They're fake trees. These trees are just for decoration. Okay, maybe down here we can hide. I don't want to get too close, because literally this is the edge of the map. That's where they're going to appear, like right here. So it feels like that would be too close. I wonder why we can't hide in these particular trees. But at any rate, we'll just sit here.
The enemy have brought up more men.
Yeah, they're coming right off down here. So we want them to come up and then destroy this army. But let's go with our cavalry to deal with the army that we've actually attacked. And they're sitting way over here. But fortunately, they've got 0 cav. Some slingers, some skirmishers, and 3 infantry units, none of which are particularly tough. So I want to wait for these guys to get a little bit up the hill. And then I'll send my cavalry. And I think... got our horse archers and light cav, and some of our native lancers. Let's send them marching, I guess, now. But it looks like the general is sticking off map for the moment. He doesn't look like he's marching in my direction. So that would certainly be annoying. Okay. He's coming, actually. And so is the other army, which is really good. I want to pull them away from the edge of the map so we can run them all down, of course. And this army I'm confident I can take with just this cavalry. Okay, we're getting close enough that I should start paying attention to this army. They're actually in the woods, which is awesome. Let's halt. We are starting to shoot some of them. And if this is a little messy, it's okay. That'll kind of encourage them to get involved. And what we absolutely can't have is this guy deciding to turn around and head back down the hill. He's going to get back in the city if that happens, and we're not going to eliminate the garrison. So we're starting to shoot with our slingers already. And I think I will turn my cavalry to face. See what's going on here. Just shooting at their skirmishers, and let's see. Kind of leading with my mercenary Rovanian guys. Alright, let's do that. Let's send these guys after the spears. Alright, and we'll get you guys up and around. Alright, what's happening down here? Still coming? Oh, you're stopped. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Oh, you coward. Alright, fine. Let's see if there's any hope of us actually catching him. We ran down the light guys, but they're already off map. Look at this. Okay, well, if nothing else, this is going to require North Rune to turn around and abandon their siege of Belligant, I would say. All right, but we actually like lost a ton of our cav. We lost like all of our cav. Okay. Well, we're still gonna kill these guys, right? I mean, we killed their general. I would like to eliminate this entire mini stack because it'll mean we only have to fight the general in the city, assuming that North Rune does not actually turn around and smack us after we besiege it. Let's get these guys gone. Wavering, broken, very nice. Let's pull away with these two units, and we'll do the same thing with the Mountain Warband. General is approaching, my general, so that's going to help hurt their morale. Well, it's too bad we lost the Rohan spears, but Rovanian Rider mercenaries, assuming some of them survive the battle, we can retrain them. So, you know, that's kind of acceptable losses. That's why I led with them in the first place. Alright, screw you, Mountain Warband. Let's hit them. They're wavering, and they're probably going to rout as soon as the general hits them. Yep. Alright, and we will charge into them in the back. Their general, and then broken. Great. Okay. Well, it doesn't always work out, so this did eliminate some units. There may still be a large army of North Rune, so that is a concern. But maybe there's some mercs in this province that we can take advantage of. Yeah, clear victory. We lost 150 men. Okay, so that is sad. We did not get Garth. And I'm hoping this is the only big army. We do have the option to pick up some mercenaries. I could pick up both of them by merging, but again, I'd like to retrain these cavalry guys. So I think I'll just train one.
Captain. Sir.
Do we want to put Garth under siege? If we don't, they're going to train another unit. But we're probably going to get hit anyway. I imagine that this force is going to hit me in Garth. Let's just get our emissary around. Okay, so if we besiege it, maybe this army will come down and try to hit us. That would be completely acceptable to me. Because that's a tiny, 3 or 4 unit stack. And then if we beat both of those armies, we'd get the city, and then we could come back and take out this army. I guess let's do that. We'll queue up a bunch of rams anyway. And Alder of Edoras earned the title of Marshal of the East Mark. So that's great. Some extra command for him, which is more of a title and an honorary thing, really. It means that if there's another family member in the same stack, he's likely to take precedence in terms of leading. This command does not translate to the battlefield. It's just a military title, essentially. Okay, but otherwise, I think we're good. We've got a couple of settlements under siege, and we've moved our men in the south. Actually, we can move you guys up north. Let's do that. And then we will we'll end the turn. And, oh, it's the big army that attacked us. Well, good for them. Okay. Yes. So this is, we'll see how this goes. This is their heir, who ran away like a coward in the last battle, and we've got 1,600 men. A lot of slingers. I don't know how I feel about that. 3 units of these light cav. And given the way our own light cav was chewed up in the last fight, we don't really have a great answer to this. We're going to be using our heavier cav mostly to deal with ranged units, I would think. But I guess it all depends how it plays out. But I think we'll save this battle for the next episode, folks. We'll see if we get Garth, and if we do, then fantastic. We've at least relieved Belligant, right? But if we lose here, Belligant is pretty much defenseless, and we need to start scraping together some reinforcements. Maybe those men who were sort of grouped around Edoras, maybe these guys would make a good quick march into the distant northeast. We'll also see how the siege around Isengard goes. Hopefully that goes well. But join me in the next episode where we get the resolution to both of these events. Thank you for joining me in this one. I hope you'll stick around, and I'll see you then.